Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. It is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. What is a friend? A single soul dwelling in two bodies. Educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. Hope is a waking dream. No great mind has ever existed without a touch of madness. Happiness depends upon ourselves. A friend to all is a friend to none. Wishing to be friends is quick work, but friendship is a slow ripening fruit. Happiness is the meaning and the purpose of life, the whole aim and end of human existence. Those who educate children well are more to be honored than they who produce them. For these only gave them life, those the art of living well. Patience is bitter, but its fruit is sweet. He who has overcome his fears will truly be free. To perceive is to suffer. Those who know, do. Those that understand, teach. The educated differ from the uneducated as much as the living differ from the dead. Whosoever is delighted in solitude is either a wild beast or a god. I count him braver who overcomes his desires than him who conquers his enemies, for the hardest victory is over self. Poverty is the parent of revolution and crime. The aim of art is to represent not the outward appearance of things, but their inward significance. It is not enough to win a war. It is more important to organize the peace. The antidote for 50 enemies is one friend. Pleasure in the job puts perfection in the work. The high-minded man must care more for the truth than for what people think. One swallow does not make a summer, neither does one fine day. Similarly, one day or brief time of happiness does not make a person entirely happy. To write well, express yourself like the common people, but think like a wise man. Learning is not child's play. We cannot learn without pain. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. For the things we have to learn before we can do them, we learn by doing them. I have gained this by philosophy. I do without being ordered what some are constrained to do by their fear of the law. The more you know you don't know. It is not always the same thing to be a good man and a good citizen. All human actions have one or more of these 7 causes: chance, nature, compulsion, habit, reason, passion, and desire. The energy of the mind is the essence of life. It is during our darkest moments that we must focus to see the light. He who cannot be a good follower cannot be a good leader. Without friends, no one would want to live, even if he had all other goods. Wit is educated insolence. All men by nature desire to know. Dignity does not consist in possessing honors, but in the consciousness that we deserve them. Nature does nothing uselessly. All paid jobs absorb and degrade the mind. Wise men speak when they have something to say. Fools speak because they have to say something. Where your talents and the needs of the world cross, there lies your vocation. Misfortune shows those who are not real friends. Learning is an ornament in prosperity, a refuge in adversity, and a provision in old age. Happiness is a state of activity. All persons ought to endeavor to follow what is right, and not what is established. Through discipline comes freedom. Great men are always of a nature originally melancholy. The secret to humor is surprise. Character may almost be called the most effective means of persuasion. Fear is pain arising from the anticipation of evil. We make war that we may live in peace. To lead an orchestra, you must turn your back on the crowd. In all things of nature, there is something of the marvelous. A friend is a second self. The only stable state is the one in which all men are equal before the law. Philosophy can make people sick. The law is reason free from passion. Youth is easily deceived because it is quick to hope. Comedy aims at representing men as worse. Tragedy is better than in actual life. Courage is the first of human qualities because it is the quality which guarantees the others. He is his own best friend and takes delight in privacy, whereas the man of no virtue or ability is his own worst enemy and is afraid of solitude. The roots of education are bitter, but the fruit is sweet. Mothers are fonder than fathers of their children because they are more certain they are their own. Anyone who has no need of anybody but himself is either a beast or a god. He who is to be a good ruler must have first been ruled. Freedom is obedience to self-formulated rules. All earthquakes and disasters are warnings. There's too much corruption in the world. Poetry is finer and more philosophical than history. For poetry expresses the universal, and history only the particular. Time crumbles things. Everything grows old under the power of time and is forgotten through the lapse of time. The aim of the wise is not to secure pleasure, but to avoid pain. Memory is the scribe of the soul. Give me a child until he is 7, and I will show you the man. It is of the nature of desire not to be satisfied, and most men live only for the gratification of it. Whatever lies within our power to do lies also within our power not to do. We must be neither cowardly nor rash but courageous. The soul never thinks without a mental picture. If things do not turn out as we wish, we should wish for them as they turn out. The weak are always anxious for justice and equality. The strong pay no heed to either. Happiness belongs to the self-sufficient. Men create gods after their own image, not only with regard to their form, but with regard to their mode of life. All who have meditated on the art of governing mankind have been convinced that the fate of empires depends on the education of youth. Love is composed of a single soul inhabiting 2 bodies. These virtues are formed in man by his doing the actions. The good of man is a working of the soul in the way of excellence in a complete life. Tolerance and apathy are the last virtues of a dying society. The gods too are fond of a joke. With respect to the requirement of art, the probable impossible is always preferable to the improbable possible. Democracy arose from men's thinking that if they are equal in any respect, they are equal absolutely. Man is a goal-seeking animal. His life only has meaning if he is reaching out and striving for his goals. Quality is not an act, it is a habit. The best friend is the man who in wishing me well wishes it for my sake. The self-indulgent man craves for all pleasant things, and is led by his appetite to choose these at the cost of everything else. Moral excellence comes about as a result of habit. We become just by doing just acts, temperate by doing temperate acts, brave by doing brave acts. If you would understand anything, observe its beginning and its development. For though we love both the truth and our friends, piety requires us to honor the truth first. Yes, the truth is that men's ambition and their desire to make money are among the most frequent causes of deliberate acts of injustice. It is well to be up before daybreak, for such habits contribute to health, wealth, and wisdom. Young people are in a condition like permanent intoxication because life is sweet and they are growing.